chatting with an Addy. Got a big weekend coming up so far as natural bodybuilding is concerned. What's up, bro? Over the invite. It's cold. How's it going, bro?
It's going well yourself?
Good, good. Great to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
Cool, man. How about this weekend? We got two really big bodybuilding shows coming up.
It is, yep. Giving
Yeah.
me the FOMO.
Right? Yeah. Well, there's so many more in the
Yeah.
future.
Yes.
Cool. So I'll hop into it. Last time we were on a live, you kind of came in a bit late, and I just wanted to kind of do a better recap of the current vision for like what this storyline and the combat system is supposed to look like, so
hmm
far as like it is definitely structured to be like an anime type combat system. And if I were to reference, let's say, Pokemon, are you familiar with Pokemon? I'm
hmm
sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I created the cards, yes.
Okay, great. So if you have like a rock type against like a water type, then water damages rock, and then
hmm
lightning doesn't damage rock at all, et cetera,
hmm
et cetera, et cetera.
hmm
So as I was kind of saying on the live last time, is I have it in my head where we do the pathos, ethos, and logos posing
Yes, rock,
styles.
paper, scissors, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it would be like kind of segmented to a natty. And it could be enhanced, but we don't really talk about enhanced because, like, what's the point? But,
hmm
like, a mass monster, he would probably embody the core values and posing style of ethos easier, just because, like, when I picture ethos, I picture, like, static holds, maybe not the most fluid movements, but when he hits his poses, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's a bodybuilder right there, right? And maybe it's like some iconic posing, like the front double by is like one pose
Mandatory. Yeah.
exactly. So then when I think of logos, and I'm matching it with body types, just because again we're going for like we want to create variety and
hmm
distinction. So when I think of logos, I think of a slightly like more sinewy, obviously he's still a bodybuilder, but like a more sinewy physique who's like just a bit not
Frank
not a
Zane.
yeah, exactly. Frank Zane, and he is like a logos posing style is like one who's very fluid, technical, efficient, and logical in the next sequence of movements. So it's like beautiful chains. We can
hmm
call it like just like a chain master. It's like boom,
hmm
boom, boom, just fucking moving all over the place.
No dead spots, right?
Exactly. And then Pathos would be like the performer. So like he's doing stuff with his face. He's like perhaps maybe he's crying or like he's just like a true
Adding
theatrical.
props and
Exactly. He's
yeah.
theatrical. He's like hamming it up. He's practically an actor or like a dancer in bodybuilding form.
Mm-hmm.
And that would kind of be like the rock, paper, scissors. The way I have it, and this is what I wanted to talk to you about specifically. Obviously, if we're looking at Pokemon, and let's say it's like a rock type versus a water type, and water type is strong. It's like it's dominant over rock, but if
hmm
that Pokemon is under leveled, then the
Yeah.
rock, yeah. So like that's kind of how I have it. So it's like if you have an ethos and a logos, the way I have it set up is if they're both really really good, then logos has the potential to beat ethos based on like this guy just moves so well compared to this like blocky like mass monster.
hmm
But Pathos has the opportunity to beat logos due to the fact that like their showmanship is just so much more powerful than the logos. And then
So, see,
mhm.
I see there's cross blurred lines between pathos and logos, in my opinion, because that performer, obviously, the adding the posing would be like it's all part of that performance, in
Mhm.
my opinion. There,
I agree, and
so
I. Mhm.
I would swear, sorry, where I
Mhm.
would jump in here is pathos would be more the the true connection with the crowd, right?
I like that.
Right, the true like crowd involvement in that roar of that overwhelming emotion that spreads through the performance,
I like that. I
right?
like
You
that.
so you can have a technical poser and everything, but their connection with the crowd could be off,
Yes.
Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It
So
does.
that would be like a key distinction between logos and pathos,
That
right?
works. Yeah.
Because like posing wise and the performance wise, I think they would be evenly matched, right? So it's, I think pathos, only way that pathos could defeat logos is if their connection was truly strong with the crowd and superior in that respect. In
Yes.
logos, they went through it all, but it was like they were just kind of, they hit it all technically well, they hit it all on beat, everything was solid performance, but they didn't have that same connection in with the crowd, which comes with the facial expression, which is a very neglected thing in the bodybuilding community. If you don't practice that stage presence smile, that look of confidence, it's
Hmm.
not going to shine through on stage.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
I've been studying a lot more posing, just contemporary posing of like athletes who are currently active, and I'm seeing good stuff, but I'm not seeing perfection. I'm not seeing mastery.
Mm.
Um, and I see like what I want the Natty King, and I'm structuring all of this with the very intention of I want to encourage the spirit of collaboration across all federations.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is being structured so it's not presented as another bodybuilding competition
Yeah.
because that's never been the vision. Instead, I want this to be a TV show and an anime and a movie.
Yeah.
And the story plays out across these different media formats that like a Natty King will be crowned in essentially a fictional universe.
Mm.
Essentially, you know?
So I mean, I'm gonna disagree, and I like the idea of that one night, one show, and the prep documentary leading up to that,
Hmm.
and becoming it, making that one night the theatrical performance where you set these different stages and you tell your story in this, whatever 4 act play, right? And the documentary will be there to tell, say, on the back screen, right, to show the people in the audience, but then it can be dueled as like the Netflix release documentary 4 act thing, right? From there, you set those stages, you tell the story of all the things, the Natty King gets crowned. Then you jump into that like Pokemon style, like you build on, right? That'll,
Hmm.
the night of that show will build on that next generation, that next level. This is just my kind of interpretation, because yeah.
I'm liking what you're saying. And I like turning, I like the idea of creating a one night spectacle.
Hmm.
And the only question I ask is, well, obviously not just one question, but basically it would just have to be fleshed out, which, I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
like a bodybuilding play.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and then
And
like, yeah,
I also
and
wanted to
then
let you know,
mm,
I did meet with a woman. It was happenstance, but she was a Broadway actress who happened
yeah,
to perform in a musical called Muscle, which was about bodybuilding.
wow.
Yeah, and it's based off of a book of the same name. The writer of the book, his name is
Mm,
Samuel Fussell. He wrote
mm.
a book, and then someone found it and was like, "I want to turn this into a Broadway musical," and then they turned it into a musical.
I want to see that. Jeez.
No, she doesn't even have access to it. She said that like we would have to go to like the New York Library and like we'd have to watch it there. Like she made it
Wow.
sound super complicated, but there
Mm,
has been a Broadway musical about bodybuilding, and she did her own choreography, and she's not a bodybuilder, but she
yeah,
played a bodybuilder as an actress in the musical.
that's
So
a different
yeah.
side of things.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. But I love the idea of turning it into like an actual bodybuilding show. I love that idea.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Okay.
like if it's a play, then you can maybe get the collaboration of all these different organizations to allow their athletes to be as like actor participants from these different divisions in this cinematic universe,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, allow them to perform on that one night. And so what? For sure, there's that one chance of the $1 million prize, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And securing that. And but yeah, then we set the stage with the posing format that will then level up in the next generation with that like rock paper scissors. But you
Precisely.
present that initial rock paper
Ooh,
scissors in those posing battles and
I
set those
see.
stages like theatrical different set and settings for the one-on-ones that'll weed out some storylines,
Okay.
and then you'll narrow it down
Ooh,
over the course of the acts of the show,
I
and
like
from
this.
there you get the final five or whatever. Then you have something that relies on their individual routine or a freestyle, different type of stuff like that.
I see what you're saying. So basically, we're setting the stage for the future, which has always
Yeah,
been the
the
intention.
the
Yeah.
jumping point. That's the one of the first things that you said is this night is to set that start that first level
Right.
to then be the jumping off point for that next series.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So now we're creating a distinction, and this kind of falls in line with I like this actually. So I'm always thinking of pumping iron and the
Hmm.
success of pumping iron, and they just followed the athletes leading into this event.
Hmm.
What is really cool about what we're doing is that we get to follow the athletes, but we also get to the event and the crown itself are like they become their own characters
Yeah,
because it's never been done before. The fact that we're like mythologizing it, that becomes its own kind of
its own
storyline.
lore. Yeah.
Exactly. Its own storyline in and of itself. So we'll have plenty of material. I still like it as a docu-series because that gives us a lot of ground to cover so far as like if we're recruiting 30 athletes from all around the world, I would like it is my intention to spotlight them
Hmm.
individually as best as I
Yeah.
can.
So
Mhm,
yes, so like just to
mhm,
break that down further, it could think of the stages of release, right?
mhm, mhm,
You would have the time to film the documentary. Maybe you do weekly uploads of like on YouTube and build the buzz through these little snippets of each athlete, right?
mhm,
And then by the time the documentary is like the documentary part is finished leading into that night of the show, you'll have a framework of what you're going to put in the show to tell
mhm,
that story.
mhm, mhm,
Then the show
mhm.
plays out. You have the whole thing filmed documentary style throughout the whole thing. So then you have the final that you would take to this Netflix whatever 5 6 part series.
Damn. Wow. Wow. So you're saying we could do the entire thing and then bring it to Netflix?
Well, yeah. Well, if or you get the securing to
Right.
do
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah. I like this. I like this. Yeah.
or
So,
you
hmm
do it independent and just publish it all to YouTube and let that build the buzz, and then but
well,
but who knows what
that's
the future
something
holds.
I was gonna run by you. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. So, have you ever heard of? Well, you've done martial arts. Have you ever heard of flow wrestling?
Flow wrestling. I
Yeah.
mean, catch wrestling, stuff like that. Like flow
Yeah.
wrestling, is that
So
similar?
it just came onto my radar, but basically it's a YouTube channel that
Mm,
is literally dedicated to all things wrestling,
mm.
jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the athletes from the collegiate level all the way up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
professional, right? Like Craig Jones,
yeah.
Gordon Ryan, it's covering
Mhm.
everyone. And I think, well, what would be really great is if we actually turn the Natty King, the future YouTube channel, into like kind of like an all-encompassing like channel that covers the 30 athletes who are attached to the project, but also
Mm,
gives that the opportunity to like better spotlight everything that's
mm,
happening in relation to the 30 athletes.
mm.
So then it's
So like
like
its own, like its own news source, like your own news source for your cinematic universe.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So then it's like we would obviously have a cinematic docu-series that is structured and looks like very pristine and high production, but I'm paying very close attention to the way that like audiences are moving in like today's day and age. And what I'm reading, the research is that people are becoming less interested in overproduced content. Instead, they would rather see something real. And,
Raw.
it's like, yeah, raw. Exactly. So the concept is it's like we present the storyline, we present the stakes, we are going to crown the next sports icon to come out of bodybuilding. Why? Why does it have to be a natural athlete? Because the fitness industry is riddled with lies, deception, and deceit in order
And
to and death. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. So those are the stakes as to why the Natty King needs to be crowned, and we're presenting it in different formats. On YouTube, it's raw and real, and it's like completely documentary style footage where we're just like kind of sitting down with athletes, going through the journey, yada yada yada. Then in the cinematic docuseries, we kind of raise the production a little bit, have it be a bit more cinematic with the shots, things of that nature. But we're slowly introducing them more and more into the world in different formats.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, think about like if you're creating a cinematic universe.
right,
Okay, what is the global news source of this universe, right?
exactly. Yeah,
That's in that bodybuilding, right,
right,
realm.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then
Yeah,
you can create that in real life, like breaking that kind of dimensions,
breaking the fourth
right?
wall. Yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
then so you tell those stories, whatever, in like maybe little news segments or something like that. But and then like yeah, like oh, this interview with this person. You have those little clips telling those storylines and weaving that storyline before the docu series even begins. Even.
I really like that. And we can even, I mean, if we wanted to, and I probably will, but I'm always thinking about how like I can incorporate actors into the storyline because it's like if we're already acknowledging the fact that this is like a fictional story, the fictional
Hmm.
story is like the Night King needs to be crowned. It's fictional, but it's also grounded in reality. We could
Hmm.
actually have an actor playing a news reporter talking
Hmm.
about like one of the future natty icons, and it's
Hmm.
like in today's news, and it looks like a complete like news
Yeah.
set. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, this is cool. Um, all right. Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty good vision for like the four-act structure of the night of, which I'm really into. Um, I think what really is becoming more and more important to me is the pre-financed or like the pre-realized vision of this, because it's like we
Hmm.
can have we'll have so much more flexibility and we'll be able to do so much more once we actually do have financing.
Hmm.
But prior to then, the only thing I can think of so far as like garnering any kind of traction without like a financial backer is the further establishment of rivalries.
Hmm.
Yeah, and like you did a really great job with that reel
Nail
that
on
you
the
did.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So stuff like that, stuff like that. And
Hmm.
Natty News Daily is like kind of already touching onto it too, where like they posted that one where it's Hurricane,
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, and
So
that. Hmm.
they are doing a very good job of highlighting that athletes in an unbiased perspective. Do you know where that started, kind of originated? I don't.
No,
There's pages that were doing it earlier, like there's a couple other pages, but Natty News Daily ended up posting like a little like uh, a picture of me with a little headline like "Am I about to win my pro card?" Or they essentially predicted that pro card win for me. And since then, I've just noticed more and more. My feed is just endless, different pages posting about these titles and showcasing those athletes on those different levels of bodybuilding across the different organizations too.
hmm
So yeah, sharing
hmm
that spotlight.
yeah. And I think that's going to continue. I feel very optimistic about the future of natural bodybuilding. I think it's really taking its moment in the spotlight. But so far as like the narrative is concerned, crowning the next sports icon to come out of natural bodybuilding, I think what we have access to is the development of rivalries and actually
Hmm.
being able to display that. And then we continue to push those narratives up into the point where we actually do get a financial backer, and then we
Hmm.
can start traveling and actually capturing it better.
So we need to create these matchups as fantasy first and then make them reality and then
Yeah.
turn them back into fantasy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well said.
down the line.
Well said. Well said. Okay. And let's say, shut like super hypothetical, because again, this is like a post finance backing kind of thing. But
Hmm.
let's say we got some funding and we have 100K to play with so far as the development of our YouTube channel. What do you think of like structuring like future matchups, like where the athletes aren't fully they're not in contest prep, but
Hmm.
like We've identified their posing styles. And I kind of have it in my head where it's like if we're doing a highlight on, let's say, Yoshi, like you're one of the competitors. When like we do a highlight on you, you've already been blood tested, you've gotten like a DEXA scan. So it's showing your like your current body fat percentage, it's showing your current testosterone. It's like showing all these different stats, kind of
Hmm.
like a power level or like a Pokemon stats,
Hmm.
right? And you're about to do a posing battle against, let's say, Retro Lord,
Yeah.
and he's either flying to you or you're flying to him, and it's like super scenic. Maybe it's like in the woods or some random place, and like
Yeah.
that's how an episode would end. So it might not have a
So
huge bearing on the outcome of the tournament.
I see. I like that idea, but yeah, remember that like it's like a training game,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need to develop that training game that would be separate from the new foundation of the like competition that you're trying to create. Not
Mm-hmm.
competition, but the
Right.
show,
Yeah.
right? The format of posing, right? What if we can create a training game that is like a free flow kind of almost like, a game of horse, right? Almost
Mm-hmm.
like, a game of skate, stuff where the athletes can showcase and one on one off each other,
Yes.
like, and there'll
Yes.
be those rules of that training game, right?
Yes.
That's what I have a couple ideas in the works on how to structure that kind of game, but yeah, there's many different ways, like a dance off, pose down, like a game of pose, whatever it lands on. We need it to have like a very viral tagline, and we need it to it would be amazing if it could be done virtually,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like having to on a live or whatever, having that real time kind of thing, because then athletes, we don't need to spend that extra to see that, you know in person one on one, but then that would develop into those in person one on one with those scenic battles, and it wouldn't be like a competition, like it wouldn't be bodybuilding prep season per se. It would
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just be like about more the art of the posing, right?
Right. Yeah, we definitely want to draw a much greater emphasis on the art of the posing, and we kind of want to just like start predicting how the tournament is going to play out through
Hmm.
these kind of
Hmm.
matchups, where it's
Yep.
like,
Yep. Just
and
telling the storylines, right?
exactly,
Seeing the rivalries and seeing how they match up in this like off season or grow season, whatever,
right.
right? It's
Yeah.
call that like the round robins, and then the real competition begins and people start falling off.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And I think I love it. Yeah, we're on the same page. So honestly, the only thing that's like worth fleshing out now, because like we're on the same page as to like the stuff that we could do
Hmm.
with financial backing is like, yeah, we could totally dive into that.
Yeah. But what
But
we can do now, yeah.
exactly, exactly. Um,
We need games. We need to create a training game that catches fire, that bodybuilders of all walks can start to challenge their bodybuilding friend or whatever to
yes.
this game. We need to
Yeah.
create that kind of virality in this game, and we
Hmm.
need to have it start with the the roster of the Natty King, right?
Yeah, and we can attach it to the crown. And like
Yeah,
this is like
yeah.
okay, this is why I want to yeah. So we can attach the game to the crown
Hmm.
and I even have this idea of, like called like a Natty King gym takeover where we actually like go from like different gyms and we put on like posing seminars where it's like we do like the game of pose or something of that
Hmm.
nature. And at the end of it, it's like the person who wins becomes like the local legend for that specific gym, and
Mm.
like their name now gets etched into the gym's history of like the
Yeah.
first local legend and yada yada yada.
Hosting local posing shows
Exactly.
where you allow the athletes, but the structure of the game would need to be created and already known, right? And then through those little local meetups, right, you highlight those via YouTube channel or whatever, right?
Correct.
And then where you highlight the rules, right, and then challenge people to, get this going at a gym near you, right?
Yes. Yes. So I want to get your opinion. So we've got the game of pose, which is like horse.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to present because I think we can actually create, again, if we're looking at like anime concepts, then we don't have to be like confined to like one specific form of posing competitions or like pose offs or whatever. So I want to present one idea to you and I want to get your opinion on this. I'm proposing a 3 round structure, and it's kind of inspired by what the reel that you did with Schwarzenegger, where like you guys were kind of going head to head.
Mm,
But a 3 round structure where maybe the first round is, let's say I'm going against the professor Oscar Muscat, right? And he goes and he's like, he's got freakish genetics, he's huge, and he does a ethos inspired posing kata, right?
mm-hmm.
And then I have the opportunity to like kind of respond with a logos inspired posing kata. And then the judges look at that and go like, okay, you know, logos beats ethos if it's done well, and I got to give it to Shaun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then round two, Oscar goes like, okay, bet I'm gonna hit him with pathos, and then does like a pathos inspired posing kata, and it's like, all right, well, ethos typically beats pathos, but like I'm not gonna beat that, so I'm either gonna do it with pathos or I'm gonna do it with logos, one of the two, and then like we kind of do like a back and forth round for round kind of thing. And like I'm talking posing flows, like improvisational style.
Mm, okay. So is this for the tournament?
Not necessary. I mean, it could be. It could
Because we're
be.
talking judging,
Yeah.
right? We don't need it. We can't have a third party if we're trying to make this an easy thing to be set up. It should be able to be judged by that competitor,
Mm-hmm.
right? It should be with the honor system that the person you're competing with or having the game opposed with is able to, judge you and you
Mm-hmm.
judge them
Mm-hmm.
based on the standards of the game,
Right.
right? Now, the
Mm-hmm.
third party could be filmed, right? Always have it filmed for watchback. Everybody has a camera these days. No need not to film it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This
right?
is true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
So, in
Mm-hmm.
that will create more of a virality. But if you're thinking night of, I do like that idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the judges, I just had an idea pop in my head. The judges would be like more American Idol, right? You need 3 of 5, right? And the judges each have their say as to why.
I like this. I like this. Okay, so tell me if you think this is crazy. And again, I'm always thinking of the target audience, which is like youth, and we want to be able to present this. I'm thinking of Pokemon. I'm thinking of Yu-Gi-Oh. Right? So we want easily understandable rules.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me if you think this is crazy. We got ethos, pathos, and logos, and we got the rock, paper, scissors. So let's say we're doing like a 3 round structure, and the first athlete goes first, and then the second athlete for the second round, that person goes first, right? What if you're doing ethos, you have like 5 different poses to start with in order to signify this is an ethos inspired posing kata.
The
And
mandatories.
yeah, like one of 5 mandatories, and you start with that in order to initiate the flow. And now everyone knows this is ethos inspired. And
Okay,
then the same
so
thing.
we have a signature pose for each ethos, logos, and pathos.
Right. And now it's informing the audience like, oh, this is the style that he's using. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
also thinking of like, that's great for like internal monologues when we get to the anime where it's like, oh, he's doing ethos. And then like the competitor, they're doing this whole thing. Oh, I know what I'll do. And then, yeah, like I'm always thinking of the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're thinking of a game to simplify it even further, we're not going to have people doing this in front of audiences,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So to signify, we should break it down to the fundamentals. Yes. If you're going to choose ethos, you're going to be limited to the mandatories,
Mm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Or something thereof. Like there
mm-hmm,
should be some confines or whatever. Or we could break it down even further and having it be pose for pose. One
mm,
pose, then the athlete hits another pose. Then
mm-hmm,
like competitor one hits one pose, competitor two hits their response pose. Right? Then they go back and forth, and then a round could be determined by, whatever variable we consist as one getting the best of the other.
mm-hmm.
and then you would do the next round, right? Starting with, I would say, start with whatever competitor won starts the next round. So they get the advantage to choose whichever ethos, logos, pathos. To
Hmm.
decide who goes first, I would say just rock, paper, scissors.
Okay,
Right?
or like a coin flip or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we're trying to really encapsulate it all, rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And then
Yeah.
we have the pose instead of like, and then with ethos, slogans, and pathos, we choose like a signature pose for each of to represent each one, a signature shape, right, to represent each one. Um, and yeah, they would hit that shape to, initiate their choice or
Hmm.
decision,
Hmm.
right?
I like this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm into it. My only thought was I really want to encourage posing flows because I'm always thinking about like what would be most entertaining to the eye.
Yeah.
I don't know if and I think that's
So,
like hmm
it, sorry, you said posing flows, yes?
yeah.
So posing flows would, if you would have it in real time, both athletes facing a camera, and they would be both going back and forth, and they need to hit, or they could be going 3, 2, 1. They both hit a pose. They both choose one of those sides,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Pathos would be more like abstract. It needs to look good, whatever, and then we have like that judging per round,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
some type of judging aspect per round.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I think that could be like one format. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in, yeah.
Just
But,
spitball.
and I like it. I like it. But what about movement? Because if we're looking to highlight movement
Hmm.
and
Right.
like the fluidity of transitions and a connected, like I want to show chains.
Hmm.
So it's like if you're hitting one pose into another and all of it is like it's chained together in a very
Yeah.
beautifully sequential way. I
Yeah.
want to be able to figure out a way to highlight that as well.
Yeah. So as far as, I mean, that kind of goes back to my original idea for the game of pose,
Okay.
right? Competitor one, he takes this they're both on that line, right? Competitor one hits a transition into a pose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they need to hold that pose without falling off balance, posture, losing tension, right? Until the second competitor either, they could either replicate that exact movement in fluidity, or they can choose their own movement in fluidity, and they need to hold that pose until the next competitor goes into their transition and hold that pose, right? So it's a kind of one for one, back
Mm-hmm.
and forth, and you can have this to like a song choice of like a random song choice, or yeah, like a freestyle impromptu version like that, or you could do it without music,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
whichever competitor to fall off beat, fall off balance, or have a dead spot, any dead spots on the stage would lose that round,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Then you reset, the competitor who wins starts the next round with that random song choice.
I like it. I like it. I think we should do both.
Yeah.
I've been in favor of the game of pose, and
Hmm.
the question is this something that we can do virtually? Because if so, then I think we should start immediately. But
Yeah.
I also I'm still like I've been watching like dance battles,
Yeah.
and when I think of specifically the format of like, I'm really interested in showing a fluidity of movement where the athlete has, let's say, 30 seconds to a minute to actually display an entire
Hmm.
sequential posing flow. And
Yeah.
then the athlete gets to respond to that with whichever style that they choose.
Yeah.
And that would also be like its own kind of format. So I think we
Yeah.
could do both formats,
I
which
mean,
is,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
whichever, we can combine some formats, or we need to, that's what I would say. We need to nail out that format of what the training game would be, because I
Mm,
think that has very viable option as well,
hmm.
right? But if we're talking about attention span, and people want to see like that one for one, right?
Yes. That's why I
Right?
think we should do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be levels to the games of pose, right?
Yes.
Right? You
Yeah.
can have the beginner, which is like single pose for single pose. You learn the ethos of it, right? You
Yes.
learn
Yes. Ooh.
or we
Ooh.
could limit it to mandatories. Then you have a game for logos,
Yes.
right? Then
Yes.
you have a game for pathos.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I like where this is going. I like where this is going. Okay. So this is beautiful. So it culminates. So we're talking about training, which is beautiful
Mhm.
because this is very
Yeah.
Star Wars. It's like we're teaching posing katas and stuff like that. This is
Yes.
beautiful. So we've got the different levels of training. We've got ethos starting, which makes complete sense. Then we got logos, and then the end all is pathos, which is where a lot of bodybuilders aren't actually
Yes.
perfecting. Right. So we master all those through training sequences. Then how do we finally do? Because I would love if we can pull it off, and this is why I wanted to talk to you. What if we do like bracket style matchups? Because again, we're doing rivalries, right? So it's like if two Natty King contestants are going against each other, what is that final moment of like, we've already done all the training, we've done the games of pose, and now it's time, like the night of the King of Naturals tournament, and it's Mortal Kombat style, Shaun Fury against Oscar Moscat or Yoshi against Samuel Bordeaux, that kind of thing. Like, what does that back and forth battle look like?
I mean, I would say we structure it in that same way and weed out
Mm.
in that order ethos, logos, pathos in act one, act two, act three,
Okay.
because you need
Okay.
to be able to nail each one, right?
Yeah.
And then you have those different games that you could play
Yeah.
through each one, or you could have, yeah,
I
that
like it.
that same format kind of.
I actually kind of like it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay.
And then you
Okay.
have the finalists, and then that gets into like the true who can encapsulate all three.
This is cool. This is cool. All right. So what is to your in your head, what does pathos training look like?
Pathos. So it's the that ability to create unique transition and flows
Mm,
that's like
mm,
people know you for
mm,
that,
mm.
right? They know,
Okay.
or they being able to create that connection through random things like adding a prop or a mask or
Mm-hmm.
something, the art of misdirection,
Mm,
right? You need to have that, that performer in you.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Adding a magic trick or something like a little like illusion of
Some
sorts
aspect of
into that routine.
performance.
Adding acrobatics or like stuff that's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. All
stuff
right.
that goes above and beyond the bodybuilder.
Into just movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kai Green.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kai Green.
The true mastery of movement.
Yeah. True mastery of movement. Okay. Okay. And expression.
Yep. And the all the little details of the muscle activation through that
Mm,
movement because we're
mm.
trying to paint statuesque portraits in movement.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So just to recap, and the night of, let's say we do
Mhm.
this King of Naturals tournament and it's like bracket style. We got 30 athletes, so it's like the first round is 15
The
one
first
on one.
act.
Yeah, the first act is 15, right?
Yep.
And each one they're doing the first game of pose where it's like
Yep.
static holds
Yep. Pose for
and
pose, right?
right.
It should be back and forth really quick and snappy, right?
Okay. Okay. We really should do this. We should figure out if we can do this
Yep.
virtually, like you and I should totally do this.
Oh, we need to
Uh,
do some beta testing for sure and work
mhm.
out like some how the logistics and how to make it as easily repeatable and postable,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And
So your
I'm
average gym bro can be like, "Yo, bro, I challenge you to
yes.
game of pose."
And
It's
it
like,
would be
"Oh,"
ideal. Yeah.
and then they'll get them talking about the Natty King and help
Correct.
the movement.
Yeah, and it would be ideal if we can make this virtual because the natural bodybuilding community is virtual. So
Yes.
if we can figure out a way to like make it make sense and have it still be like engaging, that would be great.
Hmm.
All right, so just to go back, so we're talking like first round, first act. We're doing and I don't know. This might look better in the docu-series and maybe not the night of, but we can still flesh it out.
Yeah.
First act is 15 rounds of one-on-ones. Game of pose first. We're talking quick. Whoever loses
Hmm.
first loses that round. Then we move
Hmm.
on to logos, which is posing flows. So like they get like let's say 30 seconds or a minute to do like
Hmm.
their best sequential posing flow. That
Hmm.
will still like show their own posing style. So it's
Yeah.
like if there's an
Yeah.
ethos guy, we're gonna see his ethos
Yeah.
posing style, yada yada yada. And then we finally move into like the final round, which is a pathos inspired round where it's like add some flair, add some
Yeah.
unique quality.
Well, you need to have all three by that point, right?
Correct.
The person with the most of all three would, and then you have the judges that would provide their feedback and their
Mm,
decision as to why,
mm, mm,
right? And then you
mm-hmm,
would tell the story through the rivalries. You would have the backstories and tell the rivalries through the round one of those, the people that you want to pin up against each other,
mm-hmm,
right? Then that would tell that story through the back screenplay and the backstage like documentary, etc. As the rounds are going on, right? Then
mm-hmm,
whoever advances into that logos round, right? That you can tell even more, rivalry backstory
mm.
through those rounds.
Okay, so are you saying that maybe for like the first 15 round where like everyone's going, they're just doing the first like ethos inspired training or
Yeah,
posing? Okay.
yeah. And then
Okay.
the ones who do can't hold the fundamentals, right, should, be weeded out,
Okay. And
right?
then
So then we drop maybe we essentially it would be dropping half,
mhm,
which
mhm.
I mean, I think that might be what needs to be done, right?
Yeah, I
Through
mean,
those
I'm
rounds.
thinking about time, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's say we do the first round and it's literally just the game of pose.
and it would be
And
3 rounds per like per matchup. You would have the
okay,
3 rounds, the best of three,
okay, okay,
right?
okay,
And it would be that quick and simple game.
okay, okay. And then 15 get eliminated. We move on, and now there's 15 left, and that gets paired. Maybe obviously like
Or I
the
guess, yeah, 30, 15. How would we divide 15 in half?
well, you
Yeah,
could
but
make a front runner, figure out some
yeah,
way for like there to be like a
yeah,
front runner, so like you just put him, he gets a bye, you
yeah.
know, he
Have a
just gets a
buy. Yeah,
yeah. So then it's like a 7 round, seven matchups in like the
yeah.
second round, and
Hmm.
that's Logos inspired, right?
Hmm.
And they do their back and forth, they do their elimination, and then there's what, then the final round, and there's like what, four or yeah,
Well,
four.
that was seven. Jesus. Then we're on to no, because that one person has the buy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's five. That leaves you with five, right?
Mm.
Because
And
you would have seven, no, seven and one, eight.
okay. Okay. So there's yeah. So there would be four-ish in the last round, right? Something like that.
It would be eight from the second to the third round
Oh,
because
okay.
you're cutting from 14
Yeah.
down to seven, but you have the one person with the buy,
Yeah.
so
So the
down to
final round
eight.
would have eight.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
that's not bad at all.
That's not bad.
Right?
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you have each of them have to bring that, that full performance,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Each
Mm-hmm.
of the 30 athletes should have come with their full performance. And I think that would be something that you could still film each athlete's full performance and give them their spotlight to shine their gift, right?
Yes. Yes. I agree. I agree. And I think that should be shot pre. In
Yeah.
the ideal scenario, we would have a year and a half to capture all
Mhm.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 All right. And maybe before we actually go into the actual tournament of that night, there's like maybe a 15-minute posing sequence thing of
Hmm.
like all the 30
Tell the
bodybuilders.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, telling the
Right. Yeah.
story 15 to 30 minutes before actually going into the tournament.
Hmm.
And then we do the elimination.
Hmm.
And then the stakes get higher and higher as we get closer and closer to crowning the Natty King.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Okay. So,
rivalries boil up and like,
yeah.
maybe some
Wow.
WWE styles,
Right. That's pretty epic,
virality.
man.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. Um, okay. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. All right. Well, hmm. I like the three-round structure, and I like it
Hmm.
being presented as a training game so that
Hmm.
people have the opportunity to get better at posing in
Yeah.
advance. I
Yes.
really like that.
So we
Uh,
need to find those parameters of those posing games.
hmm
I'd say that'd be the next step is to nail out those posing games, make those posing games go viral by providing value to the bodybuilding community, and then in return, that buzz will feed back.
Yeah, yeah. Couldn't agree more. We're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, shit.
Yeah, spitballing here. This is coming out of fucking thin air.
No, it's good. It's good. I feel like together we have like we're creating the vision of the actual night of,
Hmm.
and then it's a matter of it's the rivalries that will
Yeah,
take us there.
yeah. Reverse engineering the whole thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the rivalries are going to be fought out through this game,
Yes, yes.
right?
But we've got to figure
Yeah,
like I think it's almost imperative that we figure out how to do the rivalries and the
yeah.
games virtually.
Well, yeah. Like
Yeah,
you can have we're stirring the pot. I started stirring the pot on Instagram. Like I've
yeah.
been sitting on that video for a while because like yeah, like it kind of it like I didn't like it didn't get to me. I have the respect and honor in losing, but like I wasn't defeated, right? And there was a lot of hush hush after the fact, or there like it just wasn't, especially all the other six athletes that competed in that very first pro show in
hmm
Canada for naturals, right? So it was everybody posts uh their single poses, but not everybody posts like that side by side.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're not being shy about that because that's what we have to do.
And yeah, it's just if I need to play a little bit of a heel, which I like, I'll play the character. Like I don't mind stepping into that role for certain things. If, yeah,
I think you and I are both kind of finding the balance because like I feel called to play more of a heel as well.
yeah,
It's just difficult because it's a difficult thing,
yeah.
you
You
know?
have to be open to being hated or yeah,
Right.
unaccepted if we're especially if we're trying to make this as big as it is.
Exactly, exactly. Let me ask you another question since I have you here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the process of scheduling IG lives with like, all right, so we got Philip Ricardo Jr., who goes by the Legend. He's
Mm-hmm.
a legendary natural bodybuilder, and he's currently attached as the head judge for this thing.
Yes.
It's essentially like retraining him on judging criteria.
Mm, I mean, the judges are there just to move the storyline.
Okay, I'm glad that we're on the same page about that.
Yeah, like the again, like sure, this isn't a show that we're creating. We sure the only thing that we need to hold up to standard is that everybody is a natural athlete.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Like the only other thing, like it's a show
Yes.
to display these are natural athletes and they can put on 10 times more of a show than your biggest bodybuilding competition.
We're 100% on the same page. So,
Yeah.
how if the judges are there to progress the storyline, very similar to American Idol, then
Mhm.
how do we actually figure out who wins or loses in these one-on-one matchups?
I mean, well, the judges would have their own individual opinions, yes. So we like I guess curating those opinions before, things get in, right? By that time, hopefully those games of pose will be have caught on and you'll just know, just like rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
You
Okay.
should be able to, yeah, if we're creating it properly, like sure, once you get into like the final game, the final game should be for the final night,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
should have
Mm-hmm.
the ethos and logos, and then but on the final night, unleash the pathos, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or allude to the pathos game without actually, because that's what's going to branch off into the future.
Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Yeah.
Check this out. All right. All right. Okay. All right. So the first level is ethos, and that's the game of pose,
Hmm.
with like horse style, right?
Hmm.
Makes complete sense because it's
Yeah.
static holds.
Yep.
Second level is logos inspired, so it's posing flows,
Yep.
improvisational,
Yep.
30 seconds to 30
Yep.
to 1 minute.
Shuffle song, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then pathos is like a full blown 90-second to 2 minute choreographed, balls to
Yep.
the wall, maybe even
It should be unlimited time. Well, I would say like it should be the full length of a song,
okay. Yeah.
right?
And it's like a whole thing.
You need to do a song beginning to end, right? You
Yeah.
need to tell the story
Tell a
through
story.
this song. You can
Yeah.
choreograph you can have your own music kind of curated. You can get like a DJ to mix or do something like that,
I
but it
see.
should tell that whole story, like
Tell a
that
whole thing.
final dance, that last dance, right?
This makes sense. And the way that's currently set up, it'll be 8 people doing that.
Yeah,
Okay. So what, 8 times 4 is like 24, I think,
yeah,
or 32,
yeah.
32.
That's perfect for the last act.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, bro.
Yeah,
You're right. I
yeah,
like that. Dude, this is a great format.
yeah.
Yeah. This is a cool format. Okay, shit.
The raw ingredients, man. You
Yeah,
need
no,
to
I
reverse engineer it to the raw ingredients and then build that.
yeah. So I think the only thing, I mean, there's plenty to do, but we just have
Yeah.
to we have to finalize like as long as the audience understands why one athlete is beating another athlete,
hmm
then if the audience understands, the judges will understand. If the
hmm
judges understand, then the audience understands. Like we just have to
Yeah.
make it clear.
Well, yeah, but yeah, as long as there's $1 million in the prize, right? If that's yeah, you need to make it above board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the audience should have that final say, like a part, like a portion
Mm-hmm.
of that vote. The
Mm-hmm.
audience should have that final say in that last act,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, in
right?
the last act for sure.
Yeah.
For
So like
sure.
they should have that live voting like set up for that last act,
I like this. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then yeah, you have that tournament everybody piles into, and then that'll also help, even out the playing field.
That's on my end.
Yeah. But then
Okay.
yeah, you'll have controversy that stems from who won, right? But from that point, every athlete will have that spotlight to then branch them off into superstars, because that's what you originally wanted, right? You want to create a breeding ground for these natural superstars to shine.
Correct. Correct. Yes. Okay. Um, makes complete sense. Yeah. You definitely understand the vision. And
And hold true. Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah, no, this is good. Okay, let's continue to workshop this. I really
Yep.
like the ending. I think you nailed the ending. Having like the final 8 doing like pathos. Like I love that. I think that's really cool.
Well, yeah, having all three. Like it needs to be the trifecta. The
Hmm.
winner needs to have all three.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. No, I'm talking about like
Yeah,
when like you
yeah,
go through the
yeah.
different stages and like
The level of pathos, adding in the level of pathos, the ethos and logos, like tying it all together with a nice little bow, and yeah,
I love this. I love this. Okay. So
yeah,
yeah, I think we just have to figure out how people would win and lose so far as
yeah.
if we can figure that out and
Once
we got to figure out how to do it virtually.
once we find the basic game, and once we start connecting those rivalries through these games,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
the rest will catch on.
Yes,
Right, the
yes,
rest will be written out for us, right?
yeah, mm-hmm.
So let's workshop those the starting game, right? Let's
And
workshop what the rivalries, what's the story you're trying to write,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
What are the rivalries that best match up for each other in the start, and
Yes,
what rivalries do they turn into at the end?
and what would be a training game for like Padawans if we're talking Star Wars become exhibition matches leading up to the tournament. So it's like we're
Mm-hmm.
doing the documentary or like we're doing
Mm-hmm.
like the docu-series.
Yes.
If we're having 2 Natty King athletes go one
Yes,
on one against
we use the same framework of those first two games, right? And sure, they could win, they could lose one battle, but they could win the war,
exactly,
right?
exactly,
There could
yeah,
be the comeback story. There could be that underdog that ends up
yeah,
becoming that top dog that gets cocky and then falls, right?
correct,
What type of
correct.
story we're trying to tell?
I like it. I like it. We're you get it. You've got a good eye for this, and I've noticed that since I started talking to you months ago. So, um, this is good. Let's let's
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
I got some stuff to think about. This is good. We got to
All right.
figure out how to do virtual.
Yeah, we'll arrange it. Like all we can do is just beta test it. Let's
Yes.
let's let's work it out.
Yeah, and let's not
There's
let's not worry about like it not looking good. Like we
no,
will. Yeah.
exactly. It's gonna look rough before it looks better, but we're gonna create the rock paper scissors
Yes.
for bodybuilding, right?
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Cool, man. I got back day.
All right. Well, get after it.
Great chatting with you. This was very productive, and I'm looking forward
Likewise.
to talking further.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, brother.
Peace.